Hello and welcome. What's good? The final Smackdown of the year was actually okay, even though spoilers have been out for a week, and I looked at the spoilers, and everything played out okay on television. The good thing about this is at least we're getting rid of some of these feuds. Some of these feuds will end within the first 2 weeks of the new year, which is great. So thankfully, Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, that nonsense will end on the second Smackdown of the year. Damien Priest and Aleister Black, their nonsensical feud will end next week, which is great. The first Smackdown of the new year, which is great. And a shocker to me, I didn't know that Aleister Black and Damien Priest have been feuding for 6 months. Yes, they actually said it on television, in a promo, in a backstage segment. And we'll talk about that. That is insane to me. And the biggest thing on this show was Carmelo Hayes winning the U.S. Championship, which is fine. That makes perfect sense. Seems like we're getting a Trick Williams call-up, which is fine. That's cool as well. It seems like they're teasing Obafemi, but we should probably get a vignette of him on Raw as well. A video package of him on Raw. So he won't be in NXT too long for next year. They seem to be doing the same thing with Joe Hendry as well. So we probably are going to get a few call-ups. But that's not really going to help out if you don't know how to book these guys. But we're going to get into the final Smackdown of the year. We're going to get into Smackdown from December the 26th, 2025. Hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had a lot of fun with your friends and family. And I hope you guys have a prosperous, awesome new year. So we kick the show off with a quick backstage segment with Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis. Cody wants to know if Nick Aldis has showed up. If Drew McIntyre showed up yet. So Nick Aldis tells Cody that Drew has not showed up yet, but he will, and he's gonna make his public apology. And once he pays his fine. But he reminds Cody that he cannot put a finger on him. But and if he does, he'll be stripped of the WWE Championship. So, there is that. So The Miz shows up. Him and Nick Aldis, they kind of get into it. Nick's kind of pissed off. Miz is kind of pissed off about trying to deal with Joe Hendry. Miz tells Nick Aldis don't say his name. So Joe Hendry appears on the television, Titantron or whatever. Then Joe Hendry is in the ring. His music hits. He's got a guitar, a stool, and Akira Tozawa and Otis. They're dressed in Santa suits. Akira Tozawa as an elf, and Otis is Santa. And R-Truth is the Easter Bunny, which is kind of funny. So it is what it is. So Joe Hendry does a Christmas song, makes fun of The Miz and all that jazz, saying how he can't get a win without Carmelo Hayes, and says that Miz has tiny balls. Every time he joins, every time he's in a team, he takes all the falls. So then The Miz comes out. He is irate with Joe Hendry. He's tired of Joe Hendry and everything else. So this leads so Miz wants a match between Joe Hendry and him right now. Nick Aldis comes out and says it's going to be a Miracle on 34th Street fight. So Joe Hendry defeats Miz in the 34th Street fight, which is the first match of the night. So towards the end of the match, Akira Tozawa, he hits the senton, Otis hit the caterpillar, and R-Truth unmasked himself as the Easter Bunny. He hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. And then Joe Hendry ended up getting the win via a standing ovation choke slam through the table for the 1, 2, 3. This is fine. It makes sense. This was okay. I mean, I really didn't pay attention to this match all too much. Joe Hendry winning is fine. This makes sense. It seems like they're going to fast track him from NXT to the main roster immediately. It makes sense. It makes sense, I guess. Although I would have liked him to stay in NXT for a little bit longer, but it seems like they're going to go ahead and fast track him to the main roster. So that's fine. Moving on. This leads us into a backstage segment involving Carmelo Hayes and Fraxium. So Ilja Dragunov comes in. He tells Carmelo Hayes what they did last week was beautiful, but something has been eating him alive. The way that the U.S. title match went down, Dragunov says that he can't lift that weight. Carmelo Hayes tells him it eats him alive knowing what could have been or what should have been. Ilja tells him to consider the open challenge closed, and tonight it's going to be him and Carmelo Hayes for the U.S. Championship. And then they shake hands, and then Melo tells Ilja that he won't miss. Okay, that's fine. So Drew McIntyre shows up, finally. He tells Kathy Kelly that he's going to tell her about his title match, but it's not going to be right now. So, there is that. Moving on from that, this leads us into a video package of Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. Aleister Black talks about Damien Priest and says all of a sudden Damien Priest decided to give all of himself away. So Zelina Vega shows up. She says, the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, and R-Truth. She says Damien Priest gave his time to everyone else, and all they did was take from him. Zelina Vega says they reminded him of who he is, and for 6 months, they stripped him down, made him unpredictable, hateful, and violent. Zelina Vega says, but Damien Priest doesn't get it. Aleister Black says, Damien Priest answers to them, and this ends when he says it ends. Okay, so you mean to fucking tell me that Damien Priest and Aleister Black have been feuding since June of this year for 6 straight months over nothing. Over nothing. This is stupid as shit. This is dumb. This is absolutely dumb. They've got to end this Damien Priest-Aleister Black feud. One of them either has to get transferred to Monday Night Raw, or you got to move one of them higher on the card. You got to do something with both of these guys. I would have Black win, have him be higher up on the card, and then you just put Damien Priest on Raw, I guess. I don't know, but you got to do something with both of these guys. Moving on. So, Jade Cargill is backstage with Byron Saxton. So Jade Cargill says that Michin came in with her kendo stick, and that told her everything she needed to know. She said she doesn't need weapons. She is the weapon. She tells Michin to bring her kendo stick because she'll need it. So we cut to B-Fab and Michin. B-Fab tells Mia Yim she knows what she's stepping up for, but she doesn't want her to get hurt. Michin says that Jade Cargill, Mia Yim says that Jade Cargill thinking that they're scared could be used to her advantage. She says they're not scared because they don't respect her. Michin says Jade Cargill needs to be humbled, and with or without our weapon, the weapon next week, they'll humble her. So it seems like they're setting her up for a heel turn on B-Fab. B-Fab is going to turn heel on Michin, which should happen. It needs to happen. It seems like they're going to rebuild the baddies, which is fine. I don't know who else you could add into that little mix there. I don't know who else you could get. But B-Fab being added to the baddie section is fine. That makes the most sense. Moving on. This leads us into Lash Legend versus Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair defeats Lash Legend via a roll-up. So that's fine, I guess. Lash Legend got a lot of offense in. I was like, holy hell. It was insane that she got a bunch of offense in. But she looked good here. Lash Legend is good. I am not into her new theme. It's awful. It is absolute dog shit. But I do like Lash Legend. And I think she'll be something. I think she will. Moving on. So, Trick Williams is backstage. He's with Nick Aldis. Trick tells Nick Aldis that Raw's offering him the bag. And he asks Nick Aldis if SmackDown will offer him something. So, Cody Rhodes comes in. He asks Trick for a minute. Trick walks away. Cody asks Nick Aldis if Drew's paid the fine and apologized. Nick Aldis says, not yet. So he tells Cody to control his emotions, and he can't lay a finger on him. And if he does, Cody loses the title. So Trick Williams comes in once again. He tells Cody that he's the hottest free agent in the game, and if Nick Aldis makes the right decision, Cody better hold on to the title tight. And then Cody has a brief stare down with Trick, and that was it. So this is fine. This makes perfect sense. Trick Williams is going to be on SmackDown since his fiance, Lash Legend, is on the show. So they tend to keep couples together, basically. Trick being added to SmackDown is great. Again, I'm a fan of Cody. I like Cody, but Cody needs to lose this title. He's got to lose this title, right? Moving on from that. This leads us into Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Solo tells Uncle Howdy that Uncle Howdy does not have a family. Solo says that he has created a family, something that Uncle Howdy knows nothing about. Solo tells Uncle Howdy that to hang on to the tag team titles as long as he can, because the Fireflies are flying away. Solo tells Uncle Howdy that he has the whole world in his hands. I don't give a fuck about this. Fuck this shit. Moving on. Carmelo Hayes finally captures the U.S. title. He wins via the Nothing But Net. This match was solid here. Although I wish that this was live and not taped, but it was a really strong match, and it was a really good match. Both guys worked their asses off. So Ilya went for the Torpedo Moscow, but the H-bomb. So then Carmelo, he hit the first 48, and then he immediately climbed up the top rope and hit the Nothing But Net for the 1, 2, 3, and Carmelo Hayes is now the new U.S. champion, which is great. So Ilya then grabs the U.S. title post-match, and he puts it around the waist of Carmelo, and then him and Melo, they dap up, and that was it. So good stuff there. I do like that. Moving on, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they're backstage. She tells Charlotte that after last week, it was nice to see Lash lose. Charlotte Flair says as long as they can do that every week and bring the tag team titles back. So Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they come in, they show up. Rhea tells them that they're going to have a tag team match. So everybody, then Lash Legend and Nia Jax, they come in. They begin to argue along with the Kabuki Warriors. And then Nick Aldis makes an 8-woman tag for next week. And then they still continue to argue. So whatever. I don't care about this shit at all. Moving on. Carmelo Hayes is backstage with Kathy Kelly. He tells her that he was delayed but not denied. He thanks Ilya for elevating the championship, for elevating him, and for reminding him that who he is. He says the jerseys are going back up in the Raptors. And then Johnny Gargano attacks Carmelo Hayes from behind, and he says that he's going to take everything from him. I don't give a fuck about this already. Moving on from that, Julia and Kiana James, they defeat Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. Julia got no reaction, and she's been getting no reaction for weeks now. And it's sad. Julia shouldn't be in this position, but it is what it is. At least she got the win. So, it is what it is. Who gives a damn about that, though? But whatever. So the closing segment of the show, Drew McIntyre does apologize to the official. And then Cody comes out. And he's provoked by Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre just continues to taunt Cody and everything. He says that if his family wasn't there, he attacked them, but he wishes they were. He wishes that his children could see him and that his wife, Brandy, could see what a real man looks like. So Drew tells Cody that they are going to end their match, end their feud, but it's not going to be in America. It's going to take place in Germany. And it's going to be in a 3 stages of hell match. And then Drew says there's one more thing. When he tortures Cody in Berlin, when he sends him straight to hell, he tells him to say hi to his to his dad for him. So Nick Aldis grabs Cody. Cody pushes Nick Aldis away, and then Drew hits Cody with the Claymore. And then he holds up the WWE Championship, and then that was it. So this is fine. At least their feud is going to end. 3 stages of hell, to me, that does make sense. It's going to be on television, so that's fine. I'd imagine I could see them doing like a regular match where Drew wins the first fall. The second match could be probably a DQ match of some sort. It wouldn't matter what. Cody wins that, and then Cody wins the last one. But if you want to really have Drew be the guy, you have Randy Orton show up in Berlin, Germany, and you have him cost Cody the WWE Championship. Why? Because Drew McIntyre needs to be champion. I'm a fan of Cody, but Cody's booking has sucked ass for well over a year, and he's not done much of anything, right? So you've got to pull the trigger with this Cody and Orton feud. That feud does not need the title, right? You could literally have them do a blood feud for well over a year if booked right. You don't need to have Cody be champion. So I'm guessing Cody Rhodes is going to win the 3 stages of hell match, and then from there immediately Randy Orton needs to show up, and then you have Randy beat the shit out of Cody, but we don't see Cody for a while. Maybe he shows up at the Rumble, I guess, because that's going to be in Saudi. But we've got to get the title off of Cody by Mania. By Mania 42, Cody Rhodes no longer needs to be champion. It needs to be Randy Orton being champion, right? So SmackDown was okay, I guess. At least they're ending a lot of these nonsensical feuds. Carmelo Hayes winning is fine. That makes perfect sense. Now that Trick is going to be on SmackDown, you could easily put them in a feud together over the U.S. Championship, which is fine. I wouldn't rush that, but you need to kind of do something with the two of them there. Obafemi, he could show up and be on SmackDown, but I doubt it. They're probably going to end up putting him on Raw, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. What did you guys think of SmackDown? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.